Thomas Anderson is a video game programmer who is reluctantly tasked to create a sequel to his wildly popular video game, The Matrix. After bizarre occurrences, an existential crisis, and an attraction to a woman who frequents his favorite coffee shop, Mr. Anderson is confronted with the possibility that there is something more to The Matrix than meets the eye. Hey everyone, welcome back to Clubhouse Movies Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Rukawa, joined once again by Mr. Eo Pineda. Today we'll be reviewing The Matrix Resurrections, directed by Lana Wachowski.
We are thrust back into the world of The Matrix, but it looks like we're not alone. Neo is also joining us in this adventure as we all discover the machines have been up to their old antics. Cue the software because we're about to learn some Kung Fu.
So, this movie came out a little while ago.
Yeah.
I saw it when it came out.
I did too. Same day.
And I've actually seen it a few times since it came out.
I've seen it 2.5 times.
And I'm glad I saw it in theaters. I don't think you did, but like
but I have an awesome soundstage in my house.
I have seen all the Matrix movies, maybe except for the first one, in IMAX.
Wow.
And I saw this one in IMAX. And you know what? I'm going to start off just by saying I liked it.
Yeah. I surprisingly liked it. And I'll say why. I think I liked it because they knew exactly which heartstrings to pull on me.
That and I like to say that this is the kind of movie that I pretty much thought of this podcast for, or this show for, right?
Yeah.
Because I've seen like YouTube thumbnails with like the YouTube podcast or whatever, like with the figure.
Yeah, with a super wide shot, just like in their face.
The thumbs down on his face. It's like, why do they do this? This is stupid. Like, rehashes the Matrix for reasons. Like, it sucks, you know, and giving him middle fingers or whatever.
Yeah, like why?
This movie doesn't deserve that hate. Now, the thing about the first Matrix, it is actually one of the best movies ever made.
Yes.
It's also one of those movies that changed movies.
Yeah.
And the sequels were not.
I totally agree. It was so hard to live up to the first one. Like, it put wire fu in the mainstream.
To me, the first Matrix was a really good movie. The sequels were all right, but the sequels were actually, to me, one movie.
Yes.
It was a to be continued.
I can never remember them as separate movies.
Yeah. They were all one sequel. And they did continue the story. But I enjoyed this better than the sequels.
Yeah. This felt like a true sequel.
This felt like a true sequel, and it also felt like it belonged in the world of the Matrix.
Yeah, it felt as if it was the first Matrix shaking the hand of this Matrix. Like, it just felt like the perfect handoff.
Yeah, handoff and almost like bookend to the Matrix.
Very well done.
And I like the way it looked. I like the way the world looked inside the Matrix.
Yeah, I did too.
Because it felt like a movie. I know it sounds weird.
No, I get it.
It felt like really colorful and really, but not in a bad way. Not in a
like it would be the world you would assume most humans would enjoy.
And it actually took place in San Francisco, so not like green generic city.
Yeah,
it took place in proper San Francisco, movie world San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I liked it. I can imagine a couple of scenes where people can get turned off by it, but that's true of any movie. And I dug it. So
yeah, I'd say those scenes were very far and few in between, though. I mean, the thing that got me like hooked almost immediately was the fact that they are talking about the Matrix as a game, and I'm just like, when that happened, I was like, "Excuse me." So,
in my coding world, you know, back in the day when I used to be a hacker for some anonymous. No, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something cool.
That was pretty cool. When he used to write color codes for his Facebook.
Yeah,
for his MySpace.
I've done that. The XXXYYY3443.
Who did not do that, man?
Yeah, back in the day when I actually used to have to study
with your top 8 friends.
Yeah, with coding metrics and whatnot.
Yeah,
the first thing that they teach us is the net logo program, and that's the birds algorithm.
Okay.
So for pretty much the dawn of time, people used to look at birds and they would be flying in a triangle pattern.
Yeah.
And everyone used to think, oh wow, this must be some sort of consciousness, like some sort of great like thing that the birds have, or some instinct or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in net logo, they make you program basic directional. Like if you have 2 eyes and you're levitating or whatever in a certain direction, what do you see if there's one bird in front of you, or like how it happens. And then it starts a bird formation, right? You write it, and it's almost like, you ever seen like Space Invaders, but like the cheapest like version of it, where it's just like really dimensional.
Yeah,
you just see these little like diamond birds, and they're just like all clustered together.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And then they start to form patterns.
Yeah,
and they form diamonds.
Yeah,
right.
Triangles.
I'm sorry. And they did that a lot.
Yes,
in this movie,
they did.
They did.
You even see in one scene where Trinity sees it and goes, "This is beautiful."
The birds were actually following a program.
Yeah,
it was just a basic net logo program.
So freaking cool.
And
so cool.
And it just kind of blew my mind, just because that is an actual like program that birds have based on their biology.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I liked it. I'm just going to start off just by saying it was it was a Matrix movie, and I think anyone who says it's not, and even the freaking wire foo was so reminiscent of the first one. Like, it was that super slow, which at first I didn't like, but then I watched the movie again, and I'm watching it going, man, this is like perfectly in line with the Matrix. They didn't change the dynamics of the fighting sequences, because then again, you would be altering the program, right? Yeah. And I mean, I liked how it came full circle, but we'll get into that as the story goes. But this movie does have a prologue at the very beginning, where we meet Jessica Henwick's character, Bugs, like the bunny.
Yep.
And she is watching the first Matrix happen.
Yeah. And I saw it and I wrote, Matrix, the B team?
Yeah. And she's on the phone with the operator from the Matrix. If you know, like, she's from the real world, there's operator who's controlling everything. But now you can kind of see him as a hologram, like kind of appear in like places like a video game.
They have new tech because time has passed.
Yes, time has passed. About 60 years, as we'll find out, has passed. And she sees the first Matrix kind of unfold, but it happens like differently.
Yeah.
And
there are these slight variances. Like the characters are a little different, as if someone had described the characters to someone and they kind of wrote them to what they would assume they look like.
If that's supposed to be Trinity, that's not what happens.
Maybe this isn't the story we think it is.
Yeah, and Trinity is caught in like one scene where she was never caught in the movie, and she's like, this has never happened. And then Agent Smith comes, but now Mr. Smith is looking like Morpheus.
Yes.
And he somehow like kidnaps her and takes her to like his apartment, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like, the agents have apartments.
Yeah, I was like, what?
He's like, is this your apartment? And he's like, I don't know why I belong here. I think I'm Morpheus.
I am Morpheus. And I have to find Neo.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, you're Morpheus.
Dude, when he said that, my brain just went. I was like, oh my God. And I saw this movie at like midnight.
Yeah, and I actually had to kind of see this movie twice to kind of figure out what happened. She says, you're the modal Morpheus. So what they say the modals is a program that makes other programs grow up.
Yeah.
So they just have to figure out who made the modal, who designed Morpheus to grow from this modal. But it's funny because he was Mr. Smith too, and they had some of the other original agents there.
Yeah. So and he found his way by looking one day in a mirror. He was the machine. Mr. Smith was shaving.
And the funny thing was, Mr. Smith was not only shaving, but he went to like a coffee shop and had like breakfast and stuff.
I was like, hello, free guy.
Yeah, right? The free guy was the Matrix to me.
Know,
so that's the thing.
I think we made those
analogies there. Yeah. So it turns out he's a resurrected, not necessarily resurrected, but he's a newly created Morpheus.
Yeah.
And then we get into like the main plot of this, which is now Mr. Anderson.
Yeah. Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson is once again working coding again for a big corporation, but now the twist is the video game that he's created is The Matrix.
Holy crap! When that happened, I was like,
and if you look on his desk and everyone else there, they have symbology from the whole movie.
Yeah,
it's all around all the monsters, and they have Mr. Smith's face like punched in from like the slow motion stuff.
So good.
And his boss, I'm not sure if his boss had another name. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, Jonathan Groff. He was played by Jonathan Groff.
But what was the name of his character? Does it just say Smith? But
it just says Agent Smith here. But
okay, I don't know if we know his name, but this man is his boss. But this man is also very obviously Mr. Smith.
Yeah, dude, he is like
Agent Smith.
He is like maniacal.
Like Keanu Reeves, Neo, or he's Thomas Anderson at this point, and walks in his office. He's like, "Oh, all these people walking around, living out their lives."
Yeah, like so that's how Neo sees him. He has his back to him, and he's reciting this like word for word, like Agent Smith, and then he turns around.
Yeah, and
okay, so his name is Ian Bliss.
Ian Bliss. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not Ian Bliss for very long.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Wow, that was cool, man.
Yeah, and that's his boss. And they get this. Apparently, the higher ups at Warner Brothers want to make a sequel to The Matrix.
Yeah.
And they're going to do
our boss is up there.
With or without him.
Dude, when this was happening,
Let's go back to The Matrix.
I was like, this is so meta.
I know you said the story was over for you, but that's the thing about stories. They never really end, do they? We're still telling the same stories we've always told, just with different names, different faces.
But here's the thing, though. Like, I can see...
They were straddling the line.
I can see
of
how...
fourth wall there.
How critics might not like it, or maybe they'll be, whoa,
like it's a
rehash.
It's a little too tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
I'm like, you write it then.
That's the thing. You write it then.
Yeah,
like, because do a better job.
The more you watch this movie, and luckily we got to watch it a few times, is you start realizing how intelligently it's written. And it's written toward like targeting people like us who actually like The Matrix and those that haven't seen him at all, because it will draw you in.
Yeah, and there's scenes of like this guy, Mr. Anderson. He doesn't look like Keanu Reeves to everybody else, but he believes he is.
So we're seeing him as Keanu Reeves the entire time.
But everyone sees him as this like balding dude.
Yeah.
Right? And then the other thing is they're writing The Matrix. He's always taking blue pills, but he always goes to this coffee shop where he sees, I don't remember her name.
Tiffany.
Tiffany, but Tiffany is Trinity.
Yes. So we see her as Trinity. We see her. That's how we see her the entire time.
Yeah, and she's a total like soccer mom and has like a husband and a bunch of kids.
Two kids.
Yeah, I don't know. they're just little creatures that run around parents.
Yeah. We both come here.
Can I have your morning bun?
Hey, you trying to ball my mom or what?
Brandon. Can I have one bite?
Babe, what's going on? We're gonna be late.
This is my husband, Chad.
Nice to meet you.
Hey.
As far as you ever see that meme where on Facebook where it says whenever you post a picture of your kids, this is what we see, and it's a picture.
No.
It's a picture of like the monster from Goonies. We're holding like holding a.
I've never seen this.
Halloween. I don't know. I'll put it up right here. Anyway, I like that one. Anyway, yeah. So he's got a bunch of kids, and then somehow they keep running into each other in the coffee shop, and she's like, "Don't you? People say I look like your character from your game. I don't know." So there's that going on.
Yeah.
But
and so real quick, so when she mentions that, we catch a reflection of her on this table that shows this blonde-haired lady, Tiffany, and you're just like, huh. Because Keanu's character, as we see in a reflection, he's a gray-haired old dude that wears a beanie.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, long hair and ugh.
But apparently, Mr. Anderson in this reality is actually also suicidal because he's not happy with his life.
Yeah.
So he sees a therapist,
AKA NPH.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris.
The architect,
my least favorite
or analyst
part. Yeah, the analyst. Yeah, the architect was the first one.
Yes,
he was my least favorite part of this movie.
Yeah,
I think NPH
was playing NPH.
Took it to 11 and didn't help the movie.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I think that was my biggest.
It would have been cooler if they had just let Hugo Weaving play him.
Yeah, they could let Hugo Weaving
or Orlando Bloom. Why not?
Or even remember Will Ferrell played the architect on Saturday Night Live once, or on the movie awards.
Wow, that's a throwback.
But here's the thing, though. Neil Patrick Harris
did a good job, dude.
I seriously think we could have gotten like a Will Ferrell or something just to kind of really take it out of the park.
Because Neil Patrick Harris's face has a slight smirk to it every time he's talking, so you can't take him too seriously.
Or even like a Jim Carrey, or maybe even
Jim Carrey would have destroyed this.
Carrey would have destroyed it, or maybe even go dark and get like a Patrick Stewart or Ian McKellen to play the therapist.
Good. Anyway, let's get back to it because we have all these. There's so much to talk about.
Okay,
this one is an onion.
Yeah, this one we got to unpeel.
Thomas, you were a suicide survivor. gifted with a powerful imagination. Those facts have combined to create dangerous fictions in your life.
And, since this whole movie is about like rehashing and everything like kind of happen, and a big theme is loop. And anyone who's been around the block knows that somehow you repeat these cycles in life. And someone pulls like a fire alarm or something.
Oh yeah,
in
the office of
of the video Warner Brothers Media, whatever. And as it's happening, Neo gets a call on his cell phone or a text. He's like, "Go to the bathroom, Neo." Yeah, he's like,
and he does this. He does the like stumped Keanu face. He's like,
"Oh, what?"
Oh.
Yeah. Go to the bathroom, Neo. And then he says like, "Joey, is that you?" He's like, "This is not Joey." And he goes to the bathroom, and Morpheus like comes out dressed like the freaking Mask.
At last. Wasn't too sure about the callback, but it's just hard to resist.
Dude, yeah, we see Yahya, was it
Abdul Martin,
the second.
Yeah.
We see him in there and we're like, this is like the coolest Morpheus ever, man.
Yeah, dude, he's always dressing like the Joker.
And he's in the bathroom. Was he holding a martini?
Maybe. He just looked
No, he had a gun. Yeah,
he had a gun, but he just like came out like really chill. He's like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm back. Like, here we are again.
He totally plays on the Morpheus thing, by the way. He drops the one-liners that Morpheus drops, and he's like, well, I figured you'd like it.
Yeah, he's like, you take the blue pill, you stay in Wonderland, you take the red pill. He's like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, come on, man, look, it's a mirror. You stick your hand in it.
It's a dream.
It's a thing. We do it all the time.
He's like, oh.
And then like then
that was Keanu. He's like,
whoa,
oh no,
yeah. And then he runs out, and then the SWAT team starts shooting at Morpheus. Morpheus shoots back, and as this is happening, Mr. Bliss comes out and he sees like all this mayhem, and then the what do you call it? The sprinklers are going off and it's like raining.
Totally like the freaking first Matrix movie.
The third one with the rain.
That
was the third one in there. The final fist fight where he's like, I think I remember this.
Yeah, he said that. I was like, oh.
And he like picks up a gun. He's like, Mr. Anderson.
It's the same kind of gun. It is a giant Desert Eagle.
Desert Eagle, yeah. Oh my God, I want a Desert Eagle.
That's so freaking. Oh my God.
Mr. Anderson.
No, it can't be.
Yeah. Israeli Steel, buddy.
Yeah.
Israeli Steel. Anyway, yeah, so he starts shooting at Neo. He's like, I missed you, Mr. Anderson.
And then he points a gun at his face.
Points a gun, is able to shoot him. And then all of a sudden, Mr. Anderson wakes up in the analyst or the therapist office with the cat, like, meow.
Yeah, because Neil Patrick Harris is actually playing the analyst, a.k.a. his therapist.
Yeah, so he's keeping an eye on him. So the Matrix cat came back because the deja vu didn't rebuild the Matrix.
Oh, I've seen that cat before.
Yeah, this crazy cat. He tells him it was all a dream. He says, well, if we go back to your apartment, what'll be there? He's like, could probably be nothing. Never happened. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, he's like, oh, another blue pill, I guess.
Yeah.
He texted me.
Who?
Morpheus.
So he's depressed again. He's going back to writing, and they're talking about rehashing the Matrix in a bunch of times. And, and then Jessica Henwick's character Bugs, like the bunny, finds him right when he's about to commit suicide again.
Yes,
not necessarily commit suicide, but he can't fly anymore, so he's not Neo.
Yeah, and he's standing on the edge of his building,
of his apartment building.
Yeah,
and then he's about to jump. She saves him, and she goes, "No, you got to come with me first, and we got to like unplug you." And she's like, "Is the Matrix real?" He's like, "Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't it be?"
If you want the truth, Neo, you're going to have to follow me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
So then enter this room.
They go on a bunch of different little like trips. Remember, they go into Tokyo, and then they go a couple of places. Then they go to a movie theater.
Because now they can use cell phones to
go.
Is it cell phones or they
have to use mirrors?
So they can use mirrors. They use perspective, as they said.
Yeah,
which was pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. So she takes him to an abandoned movie theater where they're playing The Matrix.
Yes, and it's on these tattered screens just hanging around. It's the coolest thing.
They're playing, so you take the blue pill, you take the red pill, that whole scene.
Yeah, and then New Morpheus is like, well, familiarity.
Yeah, it's nostalgia. It'll help you a little slip into this.
He holds out the pill.
If you want out, you'll take this pill. But if you are where you belong, you can go back to this every day, over and over, forever.
He's like, time to fly.
Yeah. I was like, that's pretty cool. I want to fly.
Yeah. And then he takes the pill and he tries to go in the mirror, but it doesn't work. He's actually on track to go back in the analyst's office. Like, oh no, you're having an episode. And like Neil Patrick Harris is there.
Yeah. He's like, come with me. Hold my hand.
Thomas? Oh, God. Oh, no.
He's like, oh no, they're onto us.
Yeah. Like the craziest thing happened, like Neo, we'll say Neo for the sake of the movie.
Now.
So he's Neo. He's kind of like a third into the mirror, and then they just shoot the mirror and it breaks apart and he kind of falls out. He's like, whoa.
Yeah, there's a couple of like, I guess, back and forths with the SWAT teams, and they go back to Tokyo. They come back. Then they're on the train in Tokyo.
Yes, they're on a bullet train.
And then they're like, okay, we got a mirror, we got a portal for you to go through. It's like, okay, get this one. It's like the tiny like mirror inside the bathroom.
Bathroom vanity mirror on a speeding train that's like probably 5 inches by 5 inches.
It's like this big.
Yeah, and it blew my mind how they're what's the guy's name? They're the dude,
the operator.
Yeah, the operator told him. He's like Bugs sees the mirror and she's like, this is small. He's like, well, think perspective. The closer you get, the bigger the mirror gets, right? And I'm just like, I'm sitting there in real life just going, what?
Yeah. That's why I tell people to get like giant phones.
Yeah.
Like, just look a little closer.
Look at these things.
Anyway. So they both go in the mirror, and then it's I hate to say rehash, but Neo wakes up in his pod again.
Yeah.
Just like the first one, but only this time.
And I hate it still. God, the gooey grossness. I was just like, oh man, I should not have been eating when I saw this.
Yeah, and only this time they pull out of his pod, but there's an adjacent pod. There's only 2 pods in this big cavern or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And the other one's clearly a female. So he's like, oh my God, it's Trinity. And then he gets unplugged and he gets flushed. And
he gets saved. Actually, he gets saved by a robot. By a machine.
Well, he was saved by a machine in the first one, but they hacked it.
Yeah.
Which we'll learn there's more going on.
Yeah. There's a subplot.
Yeah. So
characters have stories here.
I know, right? They pull him out. They put him on the ship, and he's like he's rebuilt. So if you'll remember from the last one, the robots killed him to kill the Smith that was possessing his body.
Yep.
And that's what killed the Smith virus in that story. But he also lost his eyes.
Yeah.
His eyes are back.
Yep. They rebuilt him from the ground up.
They rebuilt him from the ground up. They put him back to not even from the ground up. It looks like they just put him back together. Yeah.
They show it. It's pretty cool.
They rehabilitated him and put him back together.
Yeah. It's like,
and he's like, costed a fortune.
Yeah. Him and Trinity.
Yeah. And Trinity got messed up. Yeah. Really bad
so
too.
This is how we find out real quick, go right back. So in that mirror scene when he almost gets taken back by the analyst, we find out because this is where we find out that so much time has passed.
Yeah.
Neo's like, what has it been, like 20 years? And I think it's been 20 years since the first Matrix movie.
The first one came in like 98. So it's like 2021-ish.
Yeah. So it's been a while. And they're like, no, it's been 60 years.
Yeah.
No wonder you haven't aged.
Yeah, because they found Niobe.
So now we go back. We're back on track here.
The Jessica Henwick's character Bugs is the captain of that ship, and she's being court-martialed for pulling Neo out.
Yeah.
And
they're entering the new city called IO.
Yeah, which is the new type of Zion.
Well, obviously, IO computer humor.
Yeah. So I'm
trying to look for the sound here. It's been so long. I was just doing a laugh. I'm like, where's our laugh? Do we have a laugh track? There we go.
There's Ada in the front of the audience. It's like lamb chops.
Oh man, so good. Go for some lamb chops.
Yeah. Oh my God,
so good.
So good. Yeah. Oh my God, have you ever had hot pot with like lamb, Korean barbecue lamb?
Oh, dude, so good. Oh my God. What about veal parmesan? Have you had that?
Yeah. Well, jeez.
Anyway,
God, I want some.
Let's.
God, I'm hungry.
So they're getting back into the new city of IO.
Yeah.
And Bugs sees the court martial awaiting her.
Yeah. She gets court-martialed. But now Niobe is there. Like I think we said a minute ago.
Looking like a live-action mummy.
I'm ashamed of it now. My pessimism of how long it took me to believe a world without war was possible. You gave me that. You gave that gift to us all.
Really old, since she was from the last 2 Matrix movies.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, Neo, you're alive. And like, she tells him what happened.
Yeah.
Where there was like a robot civil war. Now there were some of robots are their friends. Morpheus died.
Yeah.
The real Morpheus. But a lot of this story. Have you ever seen the Animatrix?
Dude, yes.
So
I own it. I've seen it so many times.
A lot of that actually is the only follow-up I've actually ever heard to the Animatrix.
Yes.
Where the Animatrix, if you don't know, was like a companion piece that came after the first Matrix, and it talked about how the Matrix came to be.
Yes.
And they talk about the machine cities, the machine like riots, the machine civil wars, and the machines had their own economy, and they built things for the consumers.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy. If you've never seen it, it will expand your mind as far as the Matrix universe goes.
Yeah. And
it'll give it a richness that you didn't expect.
Yeah. And it was only then when they went to war with the...
and holy crap, was it gory.
Yeah, because it was anime, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of these. Remember Kill Bill, the anime in that? If you have no experience,
or the new Star Wars Visions, it's all different artists that took their talents and applied it to different stories.
Yeah,
and they're not that long, but it's super cool. The tangents they go on, my goodness.
But the implication here is that there was another robot civil war, and then those independent robots are gaining independence again.
Yeah,
and it looked like the Animatrix, the world that they had.
Yeah,
and even like programs can become like
sentient.
liquid metal.
Yeah, liquid metal. Oh yeah, the oscillating magnetism. Yeah, whatever. It's super cool. That's how Morpheus exists in our world.
What is that?
An exomorphic particle codex.
It's pretty new.
It gives programs access to this world.
He exists as a liquid metal.
Yeah.
We'll call the
T1000 Morpheus.
Yeah, but it's not stable, so it's almost like a bunch of like little bees, like a swarm of liquid metal bees,
like the nanotech in Iron Man.
Yeah.
There we go, just like that.
So they realize that they want to go back into the Matrix and like pull out Trinity.
Yeah.
So they bust out Neo because he's just his prison. Oh, also they're also growing plants.
A strawberry?
Using digital code from the Matrix, we retro-convert it into DNA sequences.
And they grow here.
It's not easy augmenting the genome to photosynthesize biosky, but
we're getting there.
And
Niobe
doesn't want to ruin like this treaty that they have with the robots. And
yes, because this new city has like a fake sky that they're able to photosynthesize things, actually get vitamins from the sunlight or artificial light. So it's like they got a good thing going on here in this treehouse city. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So they don't want to ruin that.
I get it.
That's why they imprisoned Neo. So then they bust him out of prison again to go back in the Matrix and see if they can figure out how to save Trinity.
Yeah.
And then they come in and they're in an abandoned.
So they have to sideload her memory. They totally do it with bugs. They sideload.
That's later on.
Yeah, but it's just so cool, the concept.
Yeah.
That's
because here
that's me fangirling over the tech.
Yeah. So they go and they're in they have a crew like they did in all the other ones. And then they go into the back in the Matrix, and they go into a like abandoned warehouse or something.
Yeah.
And there, Mr. Smith is waiting for them.
And he's like, Mr.
Anderson
says it. And I'm like, oh, every time.
And they're just like talking. He's like, yeah, they kept us together, and like they needed us together. I don't know why. Yeah. We'll figure it out. And then he's like, well, and since now I've been Mr. Smith, I ran into a couple of old friends of ours.
Yeah, we have. Was it the Keymaker? No, not the Keymaker.
It was the Merovingian.
It is you. All these years, I can't believe it. Oh, God.
Yeah, the Merovingian.
He was the French dude who was with Persephone or whatever her name was, who was played by Monica Bellucci. Remember he the Merovingian made the orgasm cake that he gave some woman in the Matrix. That was his role. But now he's a hobo.
Yeah, he is.
He used to be a rich French dude.
He looks like a lost boy.
Yeah.
Old.
And he has a bunch of like weird other program like ninjas.
Yeah.
And they all fought their ninjas. And then
They look like they're part of the freaking Foot Clan.
Yeah, right. They weren't very good looking. I was kind of hoping they'd be monsters, but they were just like regular, like creepy Merovingian monsters. Mr. Smith fought Neo.
Yeah.
And I think they just get away.
Yeah, they start matching moves, just hitting each other, and Neo's doing his like force field block on him and stuff.
Oh yeah, his force
He
block.
can't fly, but he can force block everything if he wants to.
Yeah, he just uses the force to like stop everybody. Okay, and then they break away. Then they go looking for Trinity again.
Yeah,
and in this case, she works at a motorcycle shop.
Yeah,
and he starts telling her like what's what, and like that everything's real, like your game is real.
I don't have a lot of time.
I wasn't sure I'd see you again.
And this is like probably the clunkiest scene probably in the movie.
It was.
So what happens is Neil Patrick Harris just sort of shows up as like, this is like starting to go down.
Yeah.
And he stops time. He's like, welcome to bullet time.
He's
It's
like,
the coolest
you
thing in
made
the
that
world.
one up.
You made it up and I like took it to 11.
you know what I didn't like?
Yeah.
Is the way that Neil Patrick Harris moved through it. It was as if, and this is maybe a little nerdy here, if you've been using a 120 hertz screen and then use an app that's optimized for 60 hertz, it just skips, like just jumps frames.
Yeah, and I can kind of see how they were trying to make it like a bullet time, like where like Neil was like backwards on his back, like but like he was just like walking and talking.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that interesting. If they wanted to do something, maybe put Matrix code all around him or something.
Yeah, it would have been super cool.
But it looked really bad, and he was just like farting exposition the whole time.
Alone, neither of you is of any particular value. Like acids and bases, you're dangerous when mixed together.
Yeah, so like he assimilates the other worker in the shop and has him pull a gun out of the desk and shoot a bullet at Trinity.
Yeah.
And this is happening in bullet time. So Neo's like watching,
trying to stop it.
Yeah, but
like,
he's also moving in slow-mo.
Yeah, so the bullet is moving at an incredibly slow speed, but everything else is like stopped. But you can see the bullet like moving while he's like telling him the story that he rebuilt Trinity and Neo.
Yeah, he tells him why that he figured out they couldn't be too far or too close.
Yeah, otherwise because they are the power source. The power source of the one or whatever is what they needed to repower the city.
To balance.
To balance the force.
However, as long as I managed to keep you close, but not too close, I discovered something incredible.
To balance the city, to make sure everything
the Force,
works.
Luke.
Yeah. So that was his big evil plan, is to make sure that actually Smith, Neo, and Trinity, you know what that makes?
What does that make?
A Trinity.
It does.
They needed the Trinity.
That was freaking cool.
I just thought about that.
Wow.
To be together.
See, look at this. I'm going to go watch this movie again.
Yeah. So all three of them had to be together, but just far enough.
Yeah.
To where they can generate power. And that was
Crazy.
the big thing.
So good.
And then somehow, I guess, Neil Patrick Harris just like yanks. He wants Neo to join the power plant again.
Yeah.
And that's his like evil plan because the Matrix higher ups, the suits in the Matrix.
Yeah, we never see.
Yeah. Want this power station to be back up and running. And he says, okay, well, I'll let you go think about it for like a minute. And he like, lets them back in the real world. And that's when they get like arrested again.
Yes.
By Niobe. But then Niobe reveals that she's been friends with Sati, who was the little Indian girl program from the Matrix Revolutions, who's all grown up now. And she commands like there's some kind of cute like cat robots in this who are like robot. They're like the cute like robots that were like with them.
Oh yeah,
flying them around. Yeah,
like hovering around. There's even one that looks like a bird.
Yeah, so
pretty cool.
Yeah, so they were really friendly. That's why I say the Animatrix part of this.
Yeah.
Thing here.
Those are definitely from there.
Yeah. And then that's where they devised the plan to save Trinity and do the side load and
because
have
now
Morpheus fly around.
Yeah, this robot Sati, she's actually, she has emotion and she has a vendetta against, this is why I said there's stories now. She has a vendetta against her overlord machines because they purged her mother and father.
We met a long time ago.
Good morning.
Sati.
My father knew we'd meet again.
Other machines.
Yeah, they were the ones who were trying to get on the train. Remember the Matrix Matrix Revolutions. Yeah, so there's just this big plan, and to me, there's actually a kind of a good creepy scene where they go back to the coffee shop and they're going to reload them or whatever.
I saw this in my dream.
But like there's like a SWAT team and the military is all there. Like it's clearly like broken Matrix code.
Yeah.
And Trinity's there, and then the
she's like
Neil Patrick Harris is there.
Ay, what a mess.
Yeah, and then was it this scene where someone calls Trinity? They call her Tiffany, and she's like,
"Yeah." What happens is her family shows up.
Oh, right.
Her husband's like, "Tiffany, we have to go." And like one of your kids, like he broke his leg.
And
he's fine, but he's in the hospital.
And she's like, "Why do you keep calling me that? I hate that name."
Tiffany.
I wish you would fucking stop calling me that. I hate that name.
Well, she was going to go.
Yeah.
And then that's when she like woke up.
Yeah, she was like super violent, by the way. She had a few times where she said some things where she just wanted to fight.
Yeah.
I was like,
when she woke up, she was like on full Trinity mode.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
But that's when everything was about to go to hell until Agent Smith showed up.
Lockdown. Initiate swarm.
Yeah.
And just basically beat the crap out of like
the analyst.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, like it's
real
like
good.
he just said like he's like
He became a good guy for like a minute.
Yeah, he's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty cool to see him. Obviously, he was fighting him for his own gains. It wasn't, the byproduct just happened to be that he's helping out Neo in this instance.
Yeah.
But that was for a split second.
Yeah, and then he turned back into like the barista.
Yeah.
And then that's when Neil Patrick Harris activated the swarm, which instead of regular agents saving everything, it's like all the NPCs, everybody else just turns into zombie mode.
Yeah, and he just started kamikazing them out of the buildings. That was freaking cool. And swarming them through the streets.
And all the Matrix operators are like, having to fight all these zombies and they're stuck in cars and they just keep swarming them.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Trinity's driving Neo all through the city, and like, all these zombies are after him, and he's using his force push to like push them all out of the way.
Which was really crazy, by the way, is they didn't none of them died.
Nobody. I have that. Everybody lives in this movie.
Yeah. So right here, this whole swarm, and I mean, it is a swarm.
Swarm of NPCs.
Yeah, you think they're all just going to get murdered because some of them are cornered and all this stuff, and you're just like, oh man, we're going to have a not like this.
Yeah, but everybody survives in this movie.
Yeah,
which is the weirdest thing in a Matrix movie.
So weird.
Except for like everyone who died like earlier on, all the other NPCs.
Yeah,
but I mean, all the main characters made it out alive.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Neo and Trinity, they make it up to the rooftops.
Yeah.
And then they're being cornered by the zombies, and like they have only one way to go, and that's by jumping off the building. They jump.
Yeah.
They jump, and then what happens? Trinity catches Neo.
She's freaking flying.
It's funny. They're not even like flying. They just
hover.
They're just like hovering. Yeah. It looks like they're on a string.
they were.
But there's actually like paparazzo footage of like them on Twitter of them actually like on top of like a building like that.
That's pretty cool.
So they actually filmed that looks like but now she's able to fly.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about the Matrix movies is that they kind of switch who saves who. So if you remember in the first one, Agent Smith shot Neo dead and he died.
Yes.
She gave him like the kiss of life, like Snow White.
Yeah.
And that's how he came back to life. So it's not like this is uncharacteristic of these characters.
Yeah, they're playing off of one another.
And then in the second one, she got gunned down real good.
Oh, right.
And he was able to use his Matrix powers to go like inside her body and pull out the bullet.
Yeah.
And that happened. And then in the third one, she died saving him when she got impaled by she was the driver. So she was able to save him because he couldn't drive anymore. And then she died saving him there too.
Now we have
them almost saving each other.
Yeah. He's force pushing people out of the way, and she's keeping him from falling to his death.
So by the end of this movie, they both are the one.
Yeah.
They both have the powers, but I guess they always have been.
Yeah.
And Mr.
We
Smith,
are one.
Agent Smith just sort of does his own thing. We don't know where he is.
Yeah. He's kind of just morphing into wherever he wants.
Yeah. So I guess he's just like hanging out now. But they end up in the analyst's office, and Neo's holding the cat, and he's like in full like Neo mode again.
Yeah, he's got like the coolest trench coat ever.
I know.
Pretty cool.
Now he can wear a trench coat again. I never forgot why he can't.
No buttons, by the way. Make it chic.
And then the analyst gets like weird and sexist for a while. He's like, yeah, I had you healing like a dog.
If you hated the name so much, why did you heal like a good little bitch so long?
Yeah, definitely asked for that.
Yeah, or something. Yeah. And then like Trinity just kept on kicking his ass and like messing up his face. Kicked his face in, kicked his nose.
Snap his jaw back into place, like crack his back into place.
Yeah, she slits his throat, just beats him up, and he's like, "What are you gonna do now? Turn the city into like rainbows and puppy dogs?" And she's like, "That sounds like a good idea."
Yeah.
And then it pretty much ends the way the first one ended, with both of them flying away together.
Yeah. And then after all that, we have an end credits scene where it's just the people that are in the gaming
It's the
office.
focus group.
The focus group
putting together the Matrix. Like, screw the Matrix.
Let's talk about cats.
We can do cat videos. We call it the Catrix.
There we go.
People like cats. Anyway, that is the end of the movie. But you know, to me, this was more of a love story about Trinity and Neo.
Yeah.
In the end, because the choices that they make, like, clearly were hard.
Yeah.
And it picks up to where you watch the Matrix Resurrections, where like Neo was trapped in the train man's thing.
Oh,
and,
right.
And that's where Trinity like went to where Morpheus and Trinity went to the Merovingians like nightclub, his S&M club.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, I have him, but you have to give me the Oracle. And then she's like, I have this bullshit, and had it with this bullshit, and just puts like guns on everybody. We're all gonna get killed here if we don't do this. She's like, ooh. And then what's her name? Monica Bellucci. She's like, she's in love.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. I like this movie. I think it gets too much hate, and I'm glad the Rotten Tomato scores and all the critical scores kind of evened out a bit.
Yeah.
Because to me, this is better than the second two ones. Because
I agree.
The second two ones had slow,
dude. It was hard to watch those movies.
Moments.
My God.
And to me, they could have been all put into one movie.
Yeah.
And
well, that's why they were two.
Yeah, it could have been put into one movie, and this was the one movie that we saw here that could have easily ignored the second and third movies in a lot of ways.
You could have watched the first one, watched the Animatrix, then watch this.
Yeah,
you would have had your Trinity,
and it was fun. And like I said, it looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
Good continuation of the story. I just didn't know if we needed NPH chewing up the scenery like he belonged in the Matrix
Yeah,
world.
that was totally weird.
You could have had a better actor here. I don't know why, but I could just imagine Will Ferrell kind of doing this, or some comedic actor.
Would have been good and dressed up as Mugatu.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who would be a better scene chewing villain here, and I could see Ian McKellen or something like that.
Yeah.
Just someone with a big booming. I guess they already had the old man KFC Colonel,
Yeah,
the
they
architect
did.
in the last
Yeah.
one, so it can't be an old man. But I think we could have done better, or at least not let him ham it up.
Yeah, as much as he did.
But other than that, I don't know. You got any other?
No, I don't.
Any other notes here?
You can kick off the grades this time.
Well, I'm going to give it a B+. This is a bizarre and meta sequel to the Matrix trilogy. This is more of a Temple of Doom style installment to a beloved franchise tonally, but doubles down on the love story aspect. In the first, Trinity saved Neo. Then he saved her. Then she died saving him. Here, they were all resurrected together in a new reality. I see no reason to chastise this movie, and I welcome it into the franchise.
Nice. That was a bit deeper than I went. But I also gave this a B+. I wrote, I entered the Matrix and was left wanting more. I was like, this movie was after people just like us. People that are fans of the Matrix. It just played with my emotions and held on tight. My only gripe was that I had to watch part 2 and 3 to get here. But I said, this movie is super entertaining through and through. It is one of my favorite Matrix movies. Watch it.
Yeah, it was really good. I don't know why it is getting so much hate because
it makes no sense to me.
I was thinking what it might be is everyone likes. I think movies are trying to be like miniseries. Like they're trying to be like Breaking Bad. Like it's trying to be like a season. And like,
which I don't think there should be movies like this. I think movies, if they can get them done in 2 movies, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think that like Terminator Genesis. I don't know if you ever saw that.
No,
this movie was a lot like Terminator Genesis, where they kind of rehashed a lot of like the first movies and kind of built it up into like a new narrative.
Yes,
I don't have an objection to that because they're just freaking movies. You know what I mean? And it doesn't cancel out the original one.
We're here to watch them so that we can, have a good time.
And here's the scary thing. I'm going to get a little meta. There will be 100th Batman movie.
Absolutely.
There will be 100th Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
We will be dead.
Yeah, we will be dead. But these reviews will be here for you guys to watch.
I know, right? We're immortal. I am God here. It's my lawn. You know what movie was that?
No, I don't.
Lawnmower Man.
Oh,
anyway,
never seen it.
I know it's good. I mean, like it's good you didn't see it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Good call.
Every time. That was a good time.
Yeah, I'll buy that for $1. But where is I going with this? There will be, I know this sounds crazy right now, but there will be a Superman will be in the Justice League movie. No, Batman will be in the Avengers movies one of these days. One day they're going to merge. They're going to buy the character. They're going to find a way. And I'm not saying it's going to happen in our lifetime. Yeah. Somewhere in the next 300 years. Like someone is going to rehash this thing one more time. And you know what? Some rehashings will be better than others. I actually think this is a better rehashing than The Force Awakens.
Yes.
It's like, to me, The Force Awakens was the same movie. Like, again, it was The New Hope.
Yeah.
Done over again, shot for shot. And everyone loved it. And I mean, I think that this is a better, Matrix Resurrections is a better built movie than any of those new.
Yeah.
And
let's take those Star Wars movies.
And Christina Ricci was in it. We need more Christina Ricci in the world.
Yeah. She could have played Rey.
Yeah. Jessica.
Seriously.
Yeah, right. Jessica Henwick, pretty good. New up-and-comer. Yeah. She came from Game of Thrones, but she's been around. A lot of good performances. Yeah. I don't know if we needed old lady Niobe back.
No, we didn't. My God.
Yeah.
The Mummy Returns.
Yeah. But other than that, I would have liked to have seen another Matrix and have seen Morpheus and Hugo Weaving come back.
Yeah, that would have been
Lawrence
cool.
Fishburne and Hugo Weaving come back at some point.
I was waiting for them to show up.
But if you'll remember, there used to be talk of a Matrix sequel, but it would be a prequel.
Yes.
Called Morpheus.
Yep.
Starring Michael B. Jordan.
Man, that was a while ago.
I believe that they were going to do that until they greenlit this one. They said, well, we'll do it without you then.
Yeah.
And then they made this. And I think this would have been this was the better movie.
Yeah, it'll come out.
Than a Morpheus prequel. Anyway, that has been our hot take on The Matrix Resurrections. Check it out. It's not as bad as they say it was. I'm your host, Mark Rubalcaba for Mr. Eo Panetta. You've just listened to Clubhouse Movies Podcast. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification. We will catch you next time.
Trinity!